For more than 2,000 years, a hidden kingdom has slept beneath these barren plains.
Beneath this innocent hill, legends say an emperor carved himself a second empire underground. Some secrets are buried so deep that even the earth itself seems split by the weight of them. Far below the surface lies an entire world built for one man to rule forever.
As a child, he was already planning the palace where he would live after death.
When he finally became emperor, his fear of death grew even larger than his empire.
700,000 laborers were forced into the dark to build his dream of immortality.
For decades, the sound of straining ropes and shovels filled these tunnels instead of birdsong.
Piece by piece, human hands pressed fear and loyalty into the faces of an underground army. Here, soldiers for the next world were assembled one by one in an endless file.
No two faces are the same, as if the souls of real men were captured in clay.
When each warrior rose, it was not just a statue standing up, but another guardian added to the emperor's eternity.
An entire army waits here, frozen mid-march, guarding a king who has not moved in 2 millennia.
Beneath his tomb, rivers of mercury were poured to mimic the oceans and streams of the living world.
Above those rivers, a ceiling of jewels became a private sky, where the emperor could. In this underground universe, he believed his power would never end, even when his body turned to dust. To protect this secret kingdom, he ordered that those who built it would never walk out alive.
The last light of the surface world faded as the tomb sealed itself away from history.
People said that for 7 nights they heard voices from below, then suddenly, nothing at all.
Once the fires went dark, only the dead remained to guard the greatest secret of the Qin dynasty.
Almost 2,000 years later, a group of farmers dug for water and struck something else entirely.
Their shovels scraped against a face that was not flesh, but clay staring back at them. From the darkness beneath, a breath of cold air rushed up, as if the buried army had exhaled.
Today, that forgotten army stands in the open again, still guarding a tomb that no one dares to enter.
Staring into those silent eyes, some visitors say they feel a soldier looking back across the centuries.
Walking among them, you are shorter than their shoulders and smaller than their story.
And yet, this is only a fraction of the underground world that still lies sealed and untouched nearby.
Millennia of history compressed into a single soil sample, and within it, a discovery that
mercury levels hundreds of times higher than normal confirmed that parts of the legend were true. Scientists hesitate, and so the central tomb remains sealed, as if the dead emperor still rules behind its walls.
Not far from his tomb, strange earth pyramids rise quietly out of the fields.
To farmers, they are just old graves, but their size and shape hint at something far greater.
In the 1940s, an American pilot reported seeing a giant white pyramid here that seemed too perfect to ignore.
The map led them here, to this precise location. 30 degrees north, 31 degrees east.
Later, satellite images suggested that some of these mounds line up with important stars in the sky.
Teams have scanned them with modern tools, but access and answers remain limited.
Inside, they found spirals of brick and strange materials that do not match the nearby Earth.
Some believe these designs were meant to resist earthquakes, Or maybe to channel energies we barely understand. Minerals inside the mounds seem out of place, raising questions about where they came from. Locals tell stories of lights that drift over the peaks on nights when the air feels strange.
Compasses sometimes refuse to point north here, as if the Earth itself is confused.
When their positions are connected, they form patterns that some see as a spiritual shield around the ancient capital.
Far to the northwest lies another city, not built of brick, but sculpted by the wind itself.
The Chinese call it Mogui Cheng, the city of devils, a maze of stone that can play tricks on the mind.
Wind has carved these walls into shapes that look disturbingly like screaming faces frozen in stone.
At sunset, the whole landscape glows like a giant furnace, just before the voices begin.
When the wind squeezes through these narrow corridors, it sometimes sounds less like air and more like people.
Researchers who recorded the wind here later heard patterns that resembled whispered sentences. Some swear they have felt hands on their shoulders, only to turn and find nothing there but moving sand. The desert holds its breath in the spaces between.
One night, a member of a team claimed he heard someone singing behind him, though he was completely alone.
When real storms hit Mogicheng, the desert roars so loudly.
Even modern campers speak of hearing drums and laughter drifting through the stone streets after midnight.
To some, this is not just a rock formation, but a doorway, where the world of the living wears very thin.
In eastern China, a peaceful lake hides a secret city that has not seen the sky in decades.
When a massive dam project was approved, entire communities were told to leave their homes behind.
Among the drowned streets was Lion City, a 2,000-year-old town quietly swallowed by the new lake.
As water crept higher, the last breath of the city slipped out and disappeared into the waves.
Qiandao Lake holds mysteries untouched for centuries. Now, 2 divers ventured deep to uncover the past.
Submerged for centuries, this monolithic structure defies explanation. The intricate glyphs whisper of
These walls have stood for millennia, silent witnesses to history. As I touch the stone, I feel
Beneath the waves, a silent city sleeps, frozen in time. What secrets do these submerged streets hold?
the guardian lions of the city still watch over empty squares no human has walked for generations.
The deeper we dive, the more the darkness calls. But what ancient horrors lie beyond the light of this forgotten gate?
The light pierced the eternal darkness, revealing what the sea had long tried to hide. A specter bound to the roof. Lion City is gone from the land. But under this glassy surface, it still exists, almost perfectly preserved in time.
On the Central Plains, another mystery hides behind temple walls and drifting incense.
Whitehorse Temple is known as the cradle of Chinese Buddhism, but also for a Buddha said to shed tears.
Monks have reported finding moisture in these stone eyes on the eve of great disasters. One nameless monk was said to have witnessed the Buddha weeping and carried that secret to his grave.
On one stormy night, witnesses swore they saw a tear fall from the statue's face to the floor.
Whether it was condensation or something divine, that drop of water changed how people saw this place.
Over the centuries, flames and war have scarred the temple, yet the statue itself has always survived. Behind the main halls lies a small tomb with no name, rumored to hold the monk who guarded a dangerous secret.
Its worn inscription hints that his duty was not just to a temple, but to an entire country.
Even now, when times feel uncertain, people come here hoping the Buddha will not cry again.
Science can explain moisture and temperature, but it cannot measure the fear in a nation's heart.
So the grave stays closed, the statue keeps watching, and the temple listens for the next tear to fall.
Once, far out in the desert, a small kingdom shone like a jewel beside a great inland sea.
Merchants from China, Persia, and India all passed through this crossroads on the Silk Road.
They wrote in a language that blended cultures and mapped the stars with surprising precision.
Then, one day, Lulan simply vanished from the records, as if swallowed whole by the desert.
For centuries, its name survived only in ancient texts until explorers began to search for its bones in the sand.
The so-called Lulan Beauty looks as if she could open her eyes and tell us what happened here.
All that remains on the ground are broken timbers and walls, slowly being eaten away by the wind.
The magnetic field has failed. The compass is useless now. We have nowhere left to turn.
Some like to imagine that Lulan never really died. It just slipped into a world we cannot see.
In the East, another discovery challenged what we think we know about the human body itself.
These skeletons belong to people far taller and stronger than almost anyone living today.
From underground empires to doors carved in the sky, China is filled with gateways we still do not fully understand.